Hello everyone. Today we continue with the final constant and map type in Flutter in Dart. So firstly, we have some syntax for final and constant, and I will learn by a sample. So we write some sample to know about how to use final or constant. We define a final integer x and assign 10, and if you change the value to 20, so it error. And the same as constant, if you define a constant x and then you assign a new value for x, then the error may occur. So it is the same in this case with primitive integer, float, double number. Yes. So what about the list? I define a final list of integer named sum numbers. The sum numbers is an array, and the array here is a list of integer. We have some integer 1, 2, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 5, etc. So here it is a list of final list, and now I add more element to for the final list, and I cannot assign, reassign, or re-reference a final list to another list. So here final mean you cannot assign. And the constant here is also the same in this case, but how about to add more element into an existing array? So if you add more element to an array, it is okay. Yes, it is okay if you add more element inside the sum numbers array. Yes. So we add more by sum numbers dot add. Yes, it is okay. Final mean that the reference to the final variable cannot be changed, but the value inside can be changed. Okay, so you move your mouse to see. Yes, so we have the new element has been added to the end of the list, the final. Okay, so you can add more item to a final list or final array. Yes. And what about insert, or what about delete, what about update? It is the same. You can update, you can delete element inside a final list. Yes. You can add more item, you can delete an item inside a final list. Okay, so after running the program again and see the output. Okay, so you cannot add more element inside a constant list. The constant mean that it is freeze. Yeah, so you cannot add to an unmodification list. So constant mean unmodifiable list. Okay, you cannot add to an existing. So you can add more item to a final list, but in constant list you cannot do that. Yes, cannot change item inside a constant list. So there is the first difference between final and constant. Okay, so now we continue with more example. You can also modify or update an existing element inside the list. For example, the element 1 you can update by some number element, and I set the value to 99. Yes, value to 99. Okay, so the sum number here is a list. You can change the existing value of a specific specific items. So you can update an item value in a list, final list. Okay, yes, but you cannot update an existing value in a constant. Yes, a constant cannot be updated. You cannot do this with update. Okay, so after running the program and see, yes, it will throw an error, unsupported operation. You cannot modify an unmodifiable modifiable list. Okay, yes, so this is the main difference between constant and final. Now if you reference to a list, you create a variable and a list of integer some numbers 2, and I reference to the some number, I reference to a constant. Yes, and what about the sum number 2? The sum number 2 is constant or not constant. So by testing, you copy sum number 2, add more value. Yes, I can add more value to here. Yes, and then run again. I debug the program, then I move my mouse to sum numbers 2. Okay, so the sum number 2 here. Yes, so we have some element inside the sum number 2. Yes, and next. Okay, what about problem? Yes, you cannot add more to sum number 2. Yeah, because sum number 2 here is a reference to a constant. Yes, sum number 2 here is a variable with reference, which refer to a constant sum numbers. So what about final? If you change sum number to final, you can also add more item inside sum numbers 2. Okay, so run the program again, click to yes, and next. So sum number 2 here, move your mouse to here. Yes, and next. Okay, so now the sum number has new element. Yes, okay, new element 1 2 3 has been added to the final element, to the last element. And I if you reference the sum number 2 to another array, what about the problem? What about the problem? Yes, so you can also reference another. Yes, okay, yes, okay, because sum number 2 not final or not reference, you can re-reference this to another array. Yes, but if you make reference to sum number 2 to some numbers, then you cannot to a constant, then you cannot add more because it is constant. But you can also reference sum number 2 to another variable. Yes. Okay, so you can reference sum number to another array after reference to a final or a constant variable. Yes, it's quite a simple to understand and to remember. Yes, so next, and then you can see here sum number 2. Yes, so 4 7 and 9, we have 3 items inside the list. Yes, it's okay, so we have you can reference some number to an array after reference to final constant. And you can define an object without creating a class by using map type. Map type means we have an object with key and value. In this example, we have key. Key here is string, value is also string. We initialize a map object with key, string, and the value is also string. Yes. Then you can add more property to the existing map using the key. For example, we have property name. So the person at name property has a value of 1, and the person at age property is 18. So it cannot accept integer because here you define string, and you can change it to string, but it cannot accept. You can change this to integer, but it cannot accept string like 1. Then you change this to dynamic. Okay, dynamic is okay in this case. You can change it to dynamic, and all objects are the same. Object and can accept both string and integer. So okay, now in this case you can add more code line to here. You define another map. In this case you can define the string, and the key and value is double. Yes. For example, we have many points with x and y value. So point here, we can assign the point at x and the point at y at y. So point at x is 2.0 is 3.5. Okay, so etc. You can add more pair of x and y into the point, and you can access directly from your key value to get the value from x. We calculate to y, and we have x and y. So the point here, etc. You can also do the same with integer, double, etc. Yes, you can add many key value as you like. It is very good if you want to add a long list, a very long list. So it will be fast if you want to change an item in the list. Yes, you can use it to draw many points in many points in your screen display, and change color, etc. Okay, so it is the end of my lesson today. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.